there, but
they're making fun of Game of Thrones, and I don't know, it pissed me off because it was for Xbox, like the whole game, or the whole show was about how the Xbox was better.
really,
And they had to, like Stan had to recruit the goth kids and stuff because he wanted that PlayStation 4.
yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we'll get it because it's black. And I was like, okay. And
This is harder than it looks.
Cartman
I
and them
did
were
it pretty easy.
talking about the pros and cons.
And they're just pretty much were like,
Yeah.
PlayStation sucks.
Yeah, they're like, oh, the frame rate's higher and this and that. And I was like,
What you gotta think?
Frame
Matt
rate's
Parker,
higher on
Matt
what?
Parker and Trey Parker and Matt Stone are making fun of shit when they do stuff.
yeah, I know.
So
Still.
maybe they were actually making fun of it. Which I don't know. Did you hear about the PlayStation 4 and its fucking up problems that have occurred? Like it got big overnight. Like I was following it all night last night.
People expect a lot from PlayStation 3 or PlayStation.
Yeah, it showed the like the CEO of Sony, and he was like one of those stereotypical
Oh,
Asians.
Good job, man.
stereotypical Asian.
Yeah,
What is that?
he's like, you just have to see it.
I'm glad we'll only have one Asian watching the show. Tommy. But yeah. As he fell to his death. But yeah, there's been a thing where some people who have the PS4 already, the HDMI port keeps going out on them.
Oh, let's have to fix that.
Well, it's happened to a good majority of the ones that have
One.
like IGN had one mess up on them. Kotaku had one. Kotaku. Kotaku had one mess up on them. I believe it was Kotaku. And I think Game Informer had one mess up on them.
Well, I mean, like,
And then
nothing
some
comes
people-
out well. They have to have testers, and they have to...
think they're
like the
probably
Vita. I got the Vita, like, the day it came out. and-
There was nothing wrong with it except for the fact that like the updates and shit were not
Yeah.
working.
But, I mean, it's fixed.
Yeah. Keep going, man. What are you doing?
I think most of the problem with it is what they did with the PS3. They were just, they're like how Xbox has already got theirs out on market, and they're just rushing to get it out there, and they did the same thing that they did with the PS3. They rushed it too fast. They went a little cheap with the thermal resin that was on the CPU and the GPU, and then we got overheating problems, yellow light of doom.
What we talking about?
And
I personally
they just
didn't-
need to they need to slow down a little bit.
I personally didn't hear a lot on the PS4 or PS3 messing up a lot. I honestly think it was mainly because your brother did not give that fucking thing a break.
It happened to me too. It's actually happened to a lot of them. But you know how Dad works out in a junkyard. He gets a lot of like people who bring that out there.
Is that the problem with them?
Yeah, every single time that's the problem. It's yellow light of doom, and it's just where the first gens they were just made cheap, and they went with cheap thermal resin that. After a while, it would just get too hot. It would start to crack, and then you'd have thermal spiking all over the place.
I wonder if that had anything to do with. I mean, I don't think it did, but because I know there's other reasons for this. Do you think that might have been one of the reasons why they took out the PS2, like emulation or disk drive?
No.
I know they did it to make it cheaper, and because the PS2 was still being made, and they were selling it and trying to get money from that also, because they still had a strong base on that.
That's really the only reason. What the hell is this?
Did you see the new Zelda?
Which one?
The Link Between Two Worlds.
Like Between Worlds?
Yeah.
Lenny actually just got done talking about that. If you were,
Did you watch it?
I mean, I've not saw a review on it,
Pretty
but I've like been following it since they've been talking
Have you
about
seen
it.
the preview thing? I mean, it's for 3DS and 2DS.
Well, there's
I
no.
can't give it 10. I like it. I want
Who
it.
did you say gave it when we were talking about it just a second ago? Who were you? 9.8. Yeah, everyone said it's definitely a Zelda game. Like, one that actually is a really good game that fits into the series.
Have you heard about
I'm so scared.
Huh?
I know.
I know it deals with the dark world and the light world.
There's like a world underneath. The world above is called Hyrule, and then you move it over and it's back upside down. And the world underneath is called Low Roll.
Yeah.
Low roll.
Yeah.
Lolo.
Honestly,
Lol.
when I first saw it, if you watch the preview, or not the preview, but the commercial, it looks like Paper Mario. Like, that's
Paper
pretty
Mario?
much what I thought. Like, it showed a guy who's walking into a temple, and it shows how long it is, and he, like, starts walking.